Greetings, everyone. It's been a long time. It has been quite some time, my friends, since we have met and fellowshipped and been together, but we got a lot of things to cover, bitch. Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. I'm gonna let you guys come in. I know we're waiting on a few folks, but it's great to be back with you guys. Hi, everyone. I know it's been a while, but I've done some great research. It's so much to cover. We're going to be getting back into these weekly meetings, but I've been working on my record. Shout out to Spotify for verifying my new single, He Say, She Say. It's available on all media outlets, digital outlets, Spotify, iTunes, all of that. So make sure you download it, DDM, He Say, She Say. But, bitch, we got a lot to discuss. Since we last met, you know, women's bodies are in crisis. You know, the IRS is saying, fuck these subpoenas, bitch. We got some great news today. This actually just happened with the Morehouse class of 2019. But I'm going to let... and we're going to discuss the Chinese trade war. And I'm going to break that down, you know, how I break it down, bitch. So that we can really understand what's going on and how this is impacting our everyday lives. But I'm going to let everybody fill in. Hey, what's going on, Boston Jones, Teresa Portal? I got some new faces in here today. Amy, Carrie, what's going on, Carrie? Oh, thank you so much. I'm grateful for you. I know it's been a while, guys, but life has been quite busy and quite fun. But I feel good about it, nevertheless. But I'm going to wait for a few more moments for you guys to get in. Hi, everybody on YouTube. Shout out to my YouTube Secretary of Shade audience. You guys are the best. I got to give you a special shout out. Usually we do these live on Facebook. So if we're not friends on Facebook or you aren't able to watch at the time that the live is broadcast, I do appreciate you. Make sure you follow me online at GODDM on Instagram and Twitter and all of that. But starting off, hot topic issue, bitch. Hot topic issue. Hey, Tanada, what's going on? Oh my God, you guys are like packing in. Okay, so we got to get started. I don't want anybody to be waiting. So, bitch. So the state of Alabama, like, who was talking about Alabama before this week that just passed? Like, who cared? No shade. Nobody was thinking about Alabama. But anyway, the state of Alabama has just passed into law making abortions 100% illegal, even for rape and incest, you know, pretty much everything, bitch. Now, my thing is this, you know, I'm not a woman, I don't, you know what it's like to be a woman, you know, I have no experience in that field, but for a country that's having a hard time budgeting its checkbook, how are you going to tell somebody what to do with their pussy, bitch? Yes, I said it. You know how I did. I think that it's a total violation of people's privacy. Now, I am very pro-life. Like, I love the kids. But I also love people's right to choose what they do with their bodies. Personally, I feel like for something like this, to go a little deeper, I feel like this is a plan by grand design. You understand what I'm saying? Now, the thing is, this is not like the pro-life movement, the far right, you know, and this whole issue on the women's right to choose is not anything new. It's not nothing new. You understand what I'm saying? This has always been a debate, but it's different now because it's going into law. These laws are passing and they're actually making headway. And I think the time that we're in our country is the reason why a lot of this is happening. Also, too, to go further, bitch, and this is where we lean in. To go further, the reason why this is interesting is because this. You have Roe versus Wade. Now, Roe versus Wade, pretty much, and I'm going to cite my sources a little bit here. Roe versus Wade was a case in 1973 with the decision by the Supreme Court, which they ruled that the Due Process Clause of the 14th Amendment in the Constitution provides a fundamental right to privacy that protects a pregnant woman's liberty to choose whether or not to have an abortion. Okay? It also ruled that this right to privacy is not absolute and must be balanced against the government's interests in protecting women's health and protecting prenatal life. The balancing test, which is what they go by, meaning that how they grade this, allegedly, is in 3 trimesters of pregnancy. The first trimester, you get an abortion, the government like, fuck it, bitch, do you. Second trimester of the pregnancy, the government needs to have reasonable health regulations or reasonable cause why you need to try the abortion. The third trimester, they're saying, bitch, you having this baby, bitch, unless you're about to die. But anyway, nevertheless, Roe versus Wade pretty much protects that. Now, the Supreme Court ruled that. This is where we're going to go back to what we talked about in the past. This is where we lean in, bitch. Now, the Supreme Court, when they ruled this, had a bit more of a balance. This is where voting comes into play and how everything is so strategic. Okay? Now, you know we got Kavanaugh that just got voted in as Supreme Court judge. That's a far-right judge. Now, what's going to happen with this issue in Alabama is because of the precedent, of course they're going to fight this. The lawyers and prosecutors and all of those folks are going to fight this. And where are they going to take it all the way up to, guys? They're going to take it to the Supreme Court. And guess what? The Supreme Court is going to take this case. And with the judges that we have in the Supreme Court now, the probability of this ruling being upheld because of the justices that have been put in and that are sitting in the balance of the Supreme Court justices that are there and how they vote, the probability that this ruling in Alabama will be upheld is pretty high. You see how all of these things weave together? You see why Dr. Christine, her last name escapes me right now, why her testimony in the fight against Kavanaugh was so intense? It's because of reasons like this. All of the shit, there's a saying, the shit rolls downhill, okay? It starts from the top and it rolls downhill. We are starting to really see the effects for those of us, and for whatever reason, for those of us who thought that voting Trump in was a good idea because he knows how to run a business. And by the way, according to the New York Times and those early tax refunds from the 80s and 90s, bitch, he definitely does it. But you see how all of this shit is starting to impact everything? Everything. We wouldn't be having this argument probably. This would probably, Secretary Shea probably wouldn't even exist if this man hadn't been in office. You understand what I'm saying? So when he nominates these people, and by the way, a lot of these judges and shit, he probably don't give a fuck who he be nominating. It be the people in his cabinet, the few times he listened to what the fuck they got to say, that be saying, we need to put this person in, nominate this person. That's my good girlfriend. But your good girlfriend have consequences. And we're really starting to see on a wide spectrum how all of this comes into play. And I find it interesting. So you have this moment now where everybody's resisting, but the resistance needed to happen in November of 2016. And some of us tried. But I say that to say this is why these hearings are so important. Okay? Everything has a consequence. And when I researched this, because I never like to just do a surface moment, okay? I never like to just say, oh, it's terrible. It's terrible. That's not who I am. But when I started researching, I said, damn, we should have listened to that lady. Or the courts, Congress, or whoever, the Senate, they should have listened to that lady, because now we're in this mess. Now we're in a mess. And shout out to all of the white women that voted for Trump, because you thought that he knew how to run a business and, all of that. Because now if you live in the state of Alabama, it's over for you. And the other states that had total abortion, because Alabama isn't the only one. Google that. But for all of those, especially women, I feel like if you were a woman and you voted for this man, especially after seeing, the Access Hollywood tape, even though it was audio, seeing his, disposition and things like that, you still voted for him. And I find this funny because The Handmaid's Tale, for those of you, I love this show. It's a show called The Handmaid's Tale. It comes on Hulu. For those of you who watch The Handmaid's Tale, and I'm speaking to an audience right now that I very rarely speak to, but I want to speak to the white female Trump voter. If you watch The Handmaid's Tale, you should know that you contribute to the numbers, but you are a second-class citizen when it all falls down, bitch. Because guess what? Now that they in office, if you get raped, you gotta keep that baby. And a lot of times we look at rape as some random person or someone like that, attacking a woman. What about the rape when you don't feel like having sex with your husband and you're really tired and he forces himself on you? That's rape, sis. I'm not a woman, and I know that. Rape is rape. So now, if your husband say, if y'all going back and forth and he decide he want to force himself on you, you're not going to go to the police. That little secret abortion that you wanted to have, because financially y'all not really in a place to do that, you got to deal with it, sis. Think about that. And then, in some of these cases, as someone pointed out, the rapists will have rights. Okay? They will have rights. So not only will you be forced to have the child that you and your husband, I'm using this scenario because it's a scenario I think a lot of people haven't thought about. Not only are you forced to have the child that you can't afford by the husband that you're having a falling out with, but he also has rights to this child. So psychologically, you got to sit and look at a baby that you really didn't want to have, that you're going to have resentment for, naturally, because you're a human being. And then you're going to have to take said child to visit said rapist who is said child's father. I'm going to sit that on your desk and you think about that. And that's specifically for the white female Trump voter, because you thought you were doing yourself a solid, and in the end, sis, you fucked yourself. But anyway, that's that. Now, we also have this issue of subpoenas. Now, we all saw that, I believe it was the New York Times report about Trump's, where they went through Trump's earlier tax records that were available to the public. Okay? And of course, as we all knew, and anybody in the state of New York could have told you, he's a fuck up. He lost a lot of goddamn money, billions of dollars. Like, we didn't even need the tax records to fucking see that. Okay? I think that it's crazy to me. Here's why. Because the IRS will audit you for having one extra child on your tax returns. They will audit you because maybe you fell on hard times one year and you didn't work as much and your refund was a little higher. They audit the everyday person for the dumbest shit. But somehow I've never seen, this is like a mafia attempt at protecting a president to the likes of which I've never seen before. And so it's interesting to me. You have Steve Mnuchin. Okay, for those of you who don't remember Steve Mnuchin is basically, he leads the United States Treasury, and his wife Louise Linton, she was the bitch that, remember when we read Omarosa's book, she met with her, and also she was the bitch that was tagging all the fashion designers, and her husband was taking government jets to private functions and shit, and then they ended up having to pay it back. It's this motherfucker, okay? This is who Steve Mnuchin is, just to give you a refresher. So, according to to reports, the Treasury, Steve Mnuchin is the Treasury Secretary. He refused to comply. This was on Friday that just passed. He refused to comply with the congressional subpoena to hand over President Trump's tax returns. Okay? Move that will likely be the final step before the matters head to court. Okay? So here's my problem with this. And also, too, the IRS is basically ignoring the request as well. The IRS like fucking. Okay? Here's where this is dangerous, because this administration, and especially in this case, it's making Congress look like a bunch of bitches. I'm using street terms right now, okay? Because basically, this administration is basically saying all of the protocol that we have in place that is supposed to make this country so much better than everybody else's, we don't give a fuck about it. We just gonna do what the fuck we want to do. Okay? We don't care what you think. Congress, you can send us 8,000 subpoenas and we're going to fucking ignore them. And they're going pretty much unchecked for the most part, which I find is crazy. And I'm going to be honest with you, like, and I don't want to, fuck it. If these were people of color saying this shit, and refusing these subpoenas and shit like that, it would not be going down like this. You see how they come down on Rashida Tlaib, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. I have a hard time with that bitch name. AOC. You know, and all of these ladies in Congress. But for some reason, white men, and I don't want to attack anybody, but I'm just pointing out a simple truth. They have a way of being able to get away with shit that nobody else can get away with. I've never seen the level of disrespect and just outright, like, middle finger to processes in the government the way I've seen in these past, 3 years in my life. The level of ignorance, you know. So, this has been going on for a month when the Democrats actually requested to have access to his returns. And, you know, Don Jr. actually got a subpoena as well, and he ignored it. You know, they're saying ignore these subpoenas, and what it's doing is it's definitely separating our government. And I feel like what is happening, and I don't want to say this and put this kind of doom and gloom in the atmosphere, but we're watching our democracy and the idea of this country basically crumble. I think America was a great idea as a concept. Like, as a concept. Like, it's like, America, this is like an episode of Project Runway. Like, America, it was a great concept. The sketch looked great. You chose all of the nice fabrics. But in the end, the garment just didn't come together, bitch. Okay? I'm sorry, America, but you're in the bottom two this week. Flat out. Okay? That's how I feel about this shit. You in the bottom too, bitch. We lip syncing for our life right now. And it's fucking scary. Okay? I just feel like there is this inherent, like, I don't know why. I'm going to say this. To the far left, you know, white male demographic who feels like the country is being taken away from them and, you know, they got to make America great again and all of that. What you're experiencing, this inherent fear that you're experiencing, wherever it's coming from, this is what Native Americans felt when you just came over here and killed them and took their shit. This is what black people felt when they had to work over this motherfucker for 400 years for fucking free. Okay? This is what all other ethnicities felt when their shit got fucked up. I get it! You want to hold on to your June Cleaver, 1950s, American Dream, James Dean, you know, all that shit. You want to hold on to that. I get it. But the reality is the demographic of this company has changed, of this country has changed dramatically since then. Okay? And people are counted now. People are voting now. Shout out to black women who make up a huge part of the voting block and electorate. Like, come on. It's changing. It's not the country that some of you grew up in. Okay, kids are going to school now. Like, they're getting degrees. Like, you have to adjust. And I think all of this is a byproduct and a reaction to shell shock, in my opinion. Okay, there was a report put out that this generation of black men is becoming one of the most successful in history. Despite what we see on the news with the police shootings and all of that, we out here getting this work, okay? And I feel like you should not feel threatened that people are bettering themselves. Isn't that what the thing was? You know, they're not bettering themselves. They're only killing each other. They're a cancer to society. Well, we're bettering ourselves, folks. What did you want us to do? Now you're panicking. You're basically panicking. The white male demographic, the far left white male demographic is panicking. This is all a product of panicking. Because you're panicking about losing power that you stole. You stole it. It was never really yours to begin with. You stole it. And then you brought other people in on the heist to help make more money off this shit that you already stole. So, chill. Like, it's not really that deep. But y'all making it this deep. Okay? But nevertheless, they're not going to hand over the return. So this is basically going to end up going to the courts. And it's going to play out. This case, honestly, for these tax returns, could play out over months and years, guys. So be prepared for that ride. And we all know how it's going to end up, just like how that Mueller investigation ended up. We spent all that money on that investigation. And yes, I say we spent all that money because it was taxpayer money, bitch. We spent all that money for nothing. Because they was going to cover it up anyway. That's crazy to me. Now, what I'm really excited about is this trade war. I want to talk about this trade war because a lot of times I want to get into the financial repercussions of this trade war, because a lot of times, you know, guys, we hear trade war, China tariffs, we like, I'm zoning out, bitch, what the fuck, you know. But this trade war is very interesting. So I want to run down some stats. So basically, Donald Trump, the Trump administration is basically beefing with China. They got us in a whole mess, okay, with this trade war. So basically, I want to run down some numbers. Now, basically, a tariff is low-key tax on goods that are imported from one country to another, okay? So basically, it's like a toll. So I'm driving from the Jersey Turnpike to Delaware. You know, that's going to cost me X amount of dollars. That's basically what a tariff is in layman's terms. When you get on the highway, you gotta pay the little gate and then ride through. Or for some of us who ain't got no goddamn money, you just ride through and get the bill in the mail. That's the gist of what a tariff is. It's a tax. When you go and you buy your soda from the store and it's 99 cents, and here in Maryland you pay the 105 or the 106 or something like that. That is what a tariff is. It's basically a tax. So what's happening is Trump basically wants to raise the tariffs on Chinese goods, and he is doing that. Now here's where the imbalance is, okay? So about $539 billion worth of Chinese goods were imported into the United States, okay? 539 billion. So you already know, bitch. Damn near every shirt you got say made in China. The shoes say made in China. Your Nike say made in China. We all know most of this shit is made in China, to the tune of 539 billion. United States tariffs on that 539 billion is 250 billion imposed on 250 billion of that. Okay, Trump wants to get it up to 325 billion worth of tariffs on the 539. The number of U.S. goods imported to China, now 539 billion we bringing in from China. Only $120 billion worth of United States goods is being brought into China, bitch. Now let that number sink in. Okay? China to United States, $539 billion. United States to China, $120 billion. It's not even close, bitch. It's a quarter of that. Less than a quarter of that. About 20%. Okay? Now, the thing is, on that $120 billion, and I low-key get what Donald is doing, this is the only time you will ever hear me say Donald Trump low-key got a point. On that $120 billion that's going out from the U.S. to China, they got $110 billion in tariffs on it, bitch. So the 110 or the it's not even like sis. The Chinese government they're getting over, and I hate to say this, but for those of you who work in call centers, you all know it's not what you say, it's how you say it. Now, he has a point. You know, I give credit where credit is due. He has a point. We getting raped. No Vaseline. But how he's going about it is not strategic. This is where the global policy, the foreign policy piece that voters ignored when they voted for him because we were just so concerned about America and making America great again, bitch. America lives in a community with other countries and continents. This is the piece that he's missing. Okay? Now, while I get, and now we get why this is happening, okay, there's a method to how you do this. Number one, we owe China a lot of money. That's just facts. We borrow a lot of fucking money. So we already got that shit to deal with. But the thing is, and it's so funny to me because I watch a lot of news, but I'm going to tell you guys, like, the global news makes shit so much more digestible. Like, American news is so tabloid and tabloid-filled and convoluted that you miss a lot of the meat, which is why people like me are starting to pop up, because you need to be able to dissect this shit. But anyway, this is some of the impacts that are happening to this because of this trade war. Okay, now, they have it broken down into sections. So I'm going to dissect this shit for you so that we can understand how this is going to impact your pocketbook and your bottom line. So, the car industry. The car industry is probably the most affected by this trade war. Ford and General Motors lowered profit forecasts for 2018 because of higher steel and aluminum prices. So basically, China sends a lot of our steel, aluminum, the shit that you use to build the goddamn car, is coming from China, bitch. If they putting higher tariffs on the shit, it's gonna cost more. 1 + 1 = 2. So now they in a panic. Chrysler done dropped their shit. Land Rover, they seeing profit losses. But what's happening is this. The piece that's happening is that by raising the tariffs, he thought that, and this is where that once again that global and foreign policy piece is missing. He thought by raising the tariffs that it would help America. You know what these countries doing, bitch? They buying land in China and they looking into building factories in China, bitch, to usurp the goddamn tariffs. They saying, fuck it, bitch, we just gonna build in China. So all of that money and all those jobs is going to China, bitch, because they don't want to pay the taxes. And China got money. On a global scale, it's not a fight. You really don't want that smoke. Yes, we getting raped, but it's for a reason. I'm just saying, you know. So that's what's impacting that. And the funny thing is, in May, China announced that it would cut tariffs on imported cars from 25% to 15% on July 1st. So China basically did that to kind of reduce trade tensions in the U.S. and say, look, bitch, we'll throw you a bone. But on July 6th, it increased tariffs on U.S.-made cars to 40% because the U.S. taxed $34 billion worth of Chinese products. So they was like, bitch, we'll throw you a bone. Then Trump was like, nah, fuck that shit. We're going up on the tariffs again, bitch. And then China was like, all right, bitch, you want to play games? We're going to go from dropping down to 20 to 15%. We're going to go up to 40%, bitch. So China wants all the smoke. Be clear, China doesn't give a fuck. Okay? So that's the car industry. Okay? BMW recently said it will raise prices on 2 of its models due to this trade war. Okay? So the funny thing is, here's this quote. We've seen a number of car makers, including Tesla, accelerating, not exploring, bitch, accelerating plans to invest in local production facilities to avoid import tariffs. China is basically building its country up. Like, China, in 10 years, and it may be before that, China will be the standard, not the United States. It's already going down. I'm just keeping it 100 with y'all. Don't shut me down, Facebook. Okay, but that's where it's going. Food and drink. What we chugga, gugga, gugga, gugga. Food and drink, bitch. Some food companies are lowering their outlooks, and this is per the British Broadcasting Corporation. Okay. Tyson Foods recently cut its profit forecast, saying retaliatory duties on U.S. pork and beef exports had lowered U.S. meat prices. Okay. U.S. spirits and wine giant Brown-Forman said it will increase the price of Jack Daniels and other whiskeys in some European countries, according to media reports. So they're going up on the Jack, bitch. Not here, but in other countries. Now, here's where the shit gets thick. For most of you, a lot of people, you know, it's more people that drink everyday soda, water, things like this. This is where you need to get nervous, bitch. Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola has said it will increase prices in North America this year to compensate for higher freight rates and metal prices. So, bitch, you know the can that you drink your nice ice cold Coke out of? It's costing more to make because of this trade war, bitch. So Coca-Cola, what used to be the soda's already high. Ain't no more 2 for $6 from Safeway, bitch. Ain't no more buy 3, get 3 free. All that shit's going out the window, bitch. You gonna be paying $5 for a 6-pack of cherry Coke, bitch. All them Sprites you like, them Nesteas, they going up, bitch. All because of this trade war. I think we starting to understand how this impacts us, because a lot of this shit that they be saying can fly over our heads, bitch. But to obey your thirst, it's gonna cost you, bitch. That's all I'm saying. Hasbro. So Hasbro, the toy maker, they're moving production actually out of China. Honeywell wants to use more supply chain sources from countries outside of China as well. Also, to the impact that this is having on the stock market is pretty interesting. I just think that for this trade war, that's just some insight for you to understand where we're at with this. I think with this trade war, it's like, I'm going to say this. It's a valid argument that he has. And you know, I do not defend Donald Trump almost at all. But you know, I'm fair. I want to give you guys the real information. He has a point. When you look at the numbers and the tariff rates and things like that on U.S. goods, we're not exporting that much shit to China. When you look at it in comparison, China's sending $539 billion worth of product to the United States every year. We're only sending $120 billion, and the tariff on they're doing tariffs on $110 billion of that. So he has a point, but how he's going about it, it's like this. Beggars can't be choosers, bitch. If I know that I owe you $20, but I ain't got $20, I only got $10, I gotta humble myself when I go to tell you, bitch, can I give you $10 and give you the other 10 next week when I get paid? Okay? That's the thing. And you have to, if a more diplomatic person would understand that. And that's where we have to start really paying attention to who we're voting in these offices, because they impact our everyday lives. Okay? They impact our everyday lives. That's how it works. I know that was a lot to take in, but it's been a while since we talked, bitch, so you know I was coming with the tape. Okay. Now, some good news, because you know we always like to end with some good news. Some good news. So, Robert F. Smith, and I'm so proud to talk about this. Robert F. Smith, one of the richest people in America, if not the richest, black billionaire. He got an honorary degree, I believe, from Morehouse. And so today, this just happened today, if you're watching this broadcast live, he is clearing the student loan. He's paying off all of the student loans for the entire graduating class of Morehouse 2019. Let's give a hand clap. Let's give a hand clap. Let's give a hand clap. Because here's why. We always say, black people, we need to reach back into the community. We need to, build each other up. This man, I'm so excited about this. Why this is so important and why this is so great and is such an example. Because Morehouse is a historically black college and university, all male. Okay? Some of our smartest minds from the African American and black community. What he basically did was financially empower some of our greatest new, sharp, young, black, male minds to go out here and fuck shit up. Okay? They now have a clean slate to start that business. Because your credit rating not getting fucked up because you're late on your student loan payments. They ain't got to worry about, I got to hurry up and get this job that I hate and not work on this app that's going to help change the world or better society, better improve society, because I got to pay off this goddamn student loan. That's what this is about. It's so much bigger than him just saying, I'm going to take $40 million and pay off these kids' loans. This is strategic. This is how you build generational wealth. This is how you show people how to build. Because guess what? Rich people love to show how much money they got, bitch. And you think that this is not going to get followed by somebody else? I hope it start a whole trend, bitch. Fuck it. All 2019 we paid, all HBCUs, graduating classes, all y'all debts cleared. Go out here and change the world. Uplift your communities. Stop this gentrification. Create communities and places, great places for your people. Become leaders in your communities. Because generational wealth is so important. We see it every day. We see it in Donald Trump, how generational wealth works. He's creating generational wealth. That's 400 students who will now go out into the world. And they're all human, so they have their own choices to make. But the step ahead that he gave them is unimaginable. He just changed the course of some generations. Okay? This is such a big deal. And as a black, black male, I didn't go to college, I didn't graduate, but this just warms my heart. And this is a person that's saying, and the thing is, even if it's a tax write-off for him, I don't give a fuck. Because this is what I would want the tax write-off to be for. This is what you write. This is what you use that rich tax break for. To give back. If you want to give the rich a tax break, if they take that type of break and do shit like this, I'm here for this. Okay? I think, especially at a time when black men are under attack and the media tries to give black men such a stigma in how we are, I just love it. And for a billionaire, another black man to reach back and pass the torch and say, I got y'all. That's so important. It's so important and it's so goddamn beautiful. And if you got anything negative to say about this, you can kiss my ass. You know, I just was so elated. I don't know what else to say about it other than Morehouse. Like, shit, I wish I went to more, bitch. I think it's beautiful. But we covered a lot. We've been on live for almost an hour. Game of Thrones comes on tonight, the series finale. So I've been watching that, guys. I might go live later tonight, depending on how much they piss me off. We'll see. But my new single, He Say, She Say, I know a lot of you have heard it, and you've been giving me great feedback. The video will be out in the next 2 to 3 weeks. Also, too, the podcast, once again, will be launching at the end of this month, early June. Probably going to shoot for the 31st of June 1st. So you'll be able to take me on the road with you and listen to me in your headphones. The Secretary of Shade shirt is done and complete, so we'll be launching that when I announce the album, Beautiful Gowns, at the top of June. But once again, thanks for rocking with me. A lot of you guys tuned in today, which was great. If you're on YouTube, make sure you subscribe once again. Secretary of Shade. Instagram at GODDM. Make sure you subscribe to me on Spotify too, bitch, to get the box. But I love you guys. Thank you so much for joining me on a Sunday evening when it's hot as balls outside. Y'all have a good evening. I'll be going live for Game of Thrones. Y'all be blessed. Have a great week.